Hello, great to see you right there. Welcome to the Kenya Times by the people for the people. Today being on 26th June 2025, just a day after the first anniversary of the Gen Z protest that led to 8 people killed and 400 people injured, as well as 61 people still detained in various police stations across the country. The figures are according to the Kenya National Commission on the Human Rights. These and so much things we are going to discuss right here, right now, together with my guest. Remember that if you're watching this interview right here on YouTube, ensure that you subscribe, like, and share. And even go ahead, let us know your feedback concerning this interview through the comment section below. I'm delighted to host Wakili Willis Otieno, aka Piki Piki Ponki. Karibu sana Wakili.
Asante sana Nixon.
Welcome to the Kenya Times.
Asante. Yes.
Yesterday we saw you joined the Gen Z in commemorating the fallen heroes.
Yes,
last
I did.
year.
I did join the Gen Zs with my party leader, Jamie Wanjigi. And it's a sad moment what Kenyan people are going through. Because if you look at the lives which were lost, almost 69 Kenyans were lost last year. We did lose those lives because of criminality. We lost those lives as a result of people agitating for the common good governance, an economy that works for everybody. And all those 69 people died in the hands of the police. Some survived, but they were abducted. Some are living with bullet wounds. Some are living with bullets lodged in their bodies. And yesterday was meant to be a day of remembrance. The reasons why our fallen heroes died last year, 1 year down the line, those issues that led them out have not been addressed. And the issue was about the economy. All this thing is about the economy. The country must make sense to every Kenyan. It cannot just make sense to legacy politicians. And they think it will be business as usual. And I applaud the courage of our young people to stand up courageously and to demand for that which they've given unto themselves in the Constitution to be the basic document to govern our relationship. But legacy politicians are now threatened. They are seeing a generation that is fearless and is courageously demanding for that which is in the social contract. And that scares them a lot. So yes, yesterday I had to go out. Not as a leader, but as just part of the demonstrators.
And we saw you together with your party leader, Jim Wanjigi.
Yes.
And you guys were marching on the street.
Yes.
You had a woody, jumper saying, "After God, I only fear the Gen Z." Why the Gen Z?
Because the Gen Z are raising what I call our social consciousness. And that is something that has been lacking in this nation. For the longest time, the Kenyan people have been led by legacy politicians who divide them on tribal lines. But the Gen Zs now are raising our social consciousness to demand for that which is good for us as human beings, not as tribes people. And it is beautiful to be in a space where people now discuss issues affecting humanity, not legacy politicians, not tribes. And when the Gen Zs come out in numbers that have never been seen in the history of the earth, and they speak in one accord and demand for a better country, not for a tribe, not for a class, but for all Kenyans, that to me is a celebration. And somebody who has the courage and conviction to do that, of course I must fear him. I must give them their flowers. And when I'm out on the streets, I must follow their lead. They are the ones who lead me. I don't lead them. When I'm on the streets,
You follow behind.
I march. The position they give me, if they push me to the front, I'll be at the front. When I'm pushed at the back, I'm at the back. At the center, I'm at the center. But the most important thing is that we are marching for a better country. For everybody, even those legacy politicians. When the fruits of this liberation will be seen, even them, they will enjoy the good governance, a country that works for everybody, despite their previous misconduct as legacy politicians.
And Wakili, we saw what happened yesterday, and the youths were coming out, to commemorate their fallen heroes who died last year during the protest. And do you think the government has not heard them? Because the government has not yet heard them what they need. Because they could not have come out to protest yesterday.
1 year down the line, let's start from even why we were here. We were here because of the economy. And then 1 year down the line, if the government was listening to our young people, what could it have done different? Number one, top of the list would have been accountability. These 69 odd Kenyans who died all of them in the hands of police guns or batons. Not a single policeman has been arraigned in court from those deaths of June 25th, 2024.
But the government is saying they're in the
It
process.
is 1 year,
Everything is taking
it
process.
is 1 year down the line. We are not talking of 1 day down the line. This is 1 year down the line. We are not seeing anybody being arraigned in court. There is no accountability mechanism. That's number one. Second on the list is reparations, which includes compensation, includes rehabilitation, reintegration, repair. Not a single of the victims or their families have been compensated for the atrocities committed against them by the police. Even just recognition as part of reparation, just to recognize and say, this happened to our young people. And you conclude by saying, we are sorry. That should have been the hallmark of any commitment that you're saying they listened and they're responding. None of that has happened. The only compensation that we witnessed, the only apology we witnessed was during their national prayer day. An apology fused with but or if. If we wrong, so if you didn't, you are not sorry. But we have Bensley Kamau, Denzel Omondi, lying 6 feet under, 69 others dead, and you are still using the word if. You should be saying, I am sorry. The police system that I superintend caused all these deaths. As a nation, we are sorry. We recognize your struggle. We recognize your pain. First step. Second step, compensation to the families. I also recognize there are others who are living with wounds, injuries caused by the same police officers. We are compensating the families and the wounded. Accountability. Those who caused this harm, we must hold them to account.
But then the IPOA says that there's process for everything. We are doing investigations so that these police who maybe killed these Gen Zs can be brought to books.
Nixon, I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. All I do every day when I wake up is to do law. That's the first thing I do in the morning. You're not going to tell me that you are going to investigate a death in the hands of a police officer for more than 1 year. You are not investigating. You are now concealing. It's no longer about investigation. That's about concealment. Because if it was indeed investigations, someone who has died in the hands of in the hands of a policeman through a police bullet, that bullet, the cartridges, have a serial number. The dead person, we can see. The units which were deployed, we know them. The commanders responsible for those units are known. It will not take you even 1 week to have people arraigned in court. You can trace every bullet fired from the scene of crime right back to the country where it was manufactured, and even which ship or which aircraft brought it here, who handled it from the airport, which armory it went to, how it went down to a police station, and which individual officer was given that bullet. You can trace it just by looking at the number.
And
so there is no investigation that can take 1 year.
And what do you think,
Wakili,
what do you think these delays
Yes, the delays are
coming out?
The delays, as what I'm telling you, the delays are concealment. It's about protecting them. If it was about justice, Ongondowere here was killed last month, God rest his soul in peace. Within 3 days, you had seen arrests. Because that same system, they were following exactly what I'm telling you. They were able to trace, track and trace. We'll be able to trace and find out who are the perpetrators. This was even done in concealment. But this one for our young people, They were shot in broad daylight. In cities, on the streets, where there are even cameras. There's enough evidence. And the units which were deployed are known. Why, if you can't even get the particular officer, why not the commanders in charge of those units? Arraign them. So it's not about investigations. 1 year down the line can't be investigations. 1 year down the line is concealment. You're trying to conceal and to protect the perpetrators of these atrocities.
And what do you think about the disconnection, between the leaders and the Gen Z? Because there's a very huge disconnection.
You know, what is causing this disconnect, in my view, is that those who are occupying political offices don't seem to understand the times we live in. The times we live in, we are now dealing with a population that is more aware. It is more educated, it's more learned, it's more exposed. You may think that somebody is a villager, but today, in the social media space, there's no villager. We are all one. Information flow is immediate. People don't wait for the 9 o'clock news. News, you know it as it happens. People are recording live. So that's what the population you're dealing with. But the legacy politicians are still caught up in their old mindset that I will leave my constituency and go to Nairobi. When I go back, is what I'll take to them news of what is happening in Nairobi. No. Even before you get to Nairobi, the people you're leaving behind already know everything that has happened in Nairobi. They can even foretell, they're aware. And because this population is educated, it's learned, it's woke, they are able to tell bullshit when it's being served on the table. And they can tell what these legacy politicians have served us all these years is bullshit. They will not have it. Because why should we have a system in this country where somebody has gone to school, graduated, qualified as a teacher, then you employ him as a JSS teacher, and you pay him 17,000 Kenya shillings. And you in Nairobi, as a member of parliament, your mileage allowance alone, what you are claiming as mileage allowance, yani mafuta ya gari, you are claiming 500,000 Kenya shillings. We've not gone to your house allowance. We've not gone to your salary. You've not even gone to, when you report to do the work for which you are elected, to sit in parliament, you are paid a sitting allowance. Of how much? Minimum 15,000. That teacher, you are paying him 17,000 for a whole month. And both of you, you and that teacher, you're supposed to end up in the same market to shop. And you expect the teacher to say it was his destiny to live in penury, while you, it is your destiny to enjoy the largesse of his hard work. It's not possible. People are asking critical questions. If you cut the veins of any member of parliament, or even these leaders, the same blood that flows in our veins, the same that flows in their veins, there's no difference. So why should they have differential treatment from us? That disconnect is what the Kenyan people are saying, no, we will not allow it. The country must work for everybody, whether you're in office or not in office.
And do you think the Gen Z protest has bring any impact since last year?
It has.
2024?
It has. Everything that is happening in this country today, it is because of June 25th, 2024. Mene, tekel. The writing was on the wall on that date. Even the impeachment of Gachagua, even the BBG with Raila Odinga, the sacking of the cabinet, whatever is going on today, all of it is informed by that. Our politics is now on another pedestal. It is not on the old pedestal. And the legacy politicians have not realized it. They are just responding to things they don't seem to understand. And all they need to do, but maybe it's their fate not to know it, is to understand that the old is gone and the new has been birthed. And in this new, when you are in public office, your duty is to serve. You are a servant of the people, not their lord. Public office should be about the common good, not self-aggrandizement for yourself. When you wake up in the morning, are you going to value add into somebody's life? So you ask yourself, today I've woken up, I'm going to my office, whichever place it is. Am I adding value? to somebody's life? If the answer is no, stay where you are. Don't even leave. So Murkomen, when he woke up yesterday in the morning to go and inspect Parliament barbed wires.
But he was performing
No.
his duties.
When he
Wakili.
woke up in the morning to go and inspect those barbed wires erected in Parliament, was he adding value to the lives of the people of Kenya, or was he enhancing? Why was he putting barbed wire?
For protection of the public entities.
Protect who from who? Protect the people from their representatives? So you're adding value.
So what
You are now creating barriers, right? You are now creating barriers. Why in the same vein and in the same vigor, wake up early in the morning to go and inspect Kakamega Referral Hospital, to check if the Kenyan people who have turned up at Kakamega Referral Hospital are getting quality healthcare services. In the same vein, wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go and check on the coffee farmers, to find out if these coffee farmers are getting adequate returns for their crop. In the same vein, wake up early in the morning at 5 a.m. to go to school, to find out if the kids who are reporting at that 5 a.m. in the morning to school have a teacher who is well enumerated, who is well equipped to offer them learning. That is value add. But when you wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning to erect an artificial barrier to protect the people from their representatives, me, I've never seen a maid erecting a wall between him or her and his employer. I've never seen. If anything, house managers always want to be part of the family. They integrate as part of the family. But in this instance, these are our house managers, they are our maids. Why are they creating a wall between us and them? It should tell you then that there's a problem in that house, that you now need to create an artificial barrier to block people from accessing, reaching them. That problem is what you need to look into. Because if the members of parliament were doing their work as expected of them, they'll be expecting people to go to parliament to take to them flowers. But because they know at the back of their minds that they've not been working for the common good, that if people go to parliament, they will take them thorns and not flowers. Hence, now they put the artificial barrier.
And what do you think now is the end game? Because we are talking about this. You have been talking about this, and many people are talking about it. But then there's a question: what is the lasting solution for this? Should Gen Z be in parliament in 2027?
First, I believe elections should be held next year, as per our constitution.
We'll come to that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So for me, I believe it's next year. And yes, Gen Zs and those who are understood this social consciousness that we are having are the ones who should be leading us, not legacy politicians. When I talk of a social consciousness, it's a social consciousness that all that we agitate for is about the common good, the good of everyone in the Republic. So that whatever I'm doing it to add value to people's lives, not to take away. I'm not doing it to further myself as an individual or to further my community, a tribe. Legacy politicians are used to have risen to a position for self-aggrandizement. Or it is now my tribesmen to eat. Manipulating the common man, lie to them that when your tribesman is on the table, the whole tribe is full. When Muzadavadi is on the table, then we should say all lawyers are well taken care of. That's nonsense. That is what the people are rejecting on the streets. So yes, the young people need to organize themselves, and when the time comes, they elect to leadership people who share this social consciousness, including themselves. There's nothing peculiar that a 70-year-old has that a 22-year-old or a 25-year-old does not have. When Kenya attained independence, what was the average age of the cabinet? These were young people. They were in their 30s. They were not 70-year-olds. Kibaki became a minister when he was old, I think 30-something. Matiba was a PS at 33. So?
We are talking about the yesterday protest, Wakili, and the commemoration actually. Gen Z just a day before yesterday, they were saying we are coming to remember our heroes who fall and who were shot dead in 2024 protest. But then yesterday we saw there was another issue. There was chant, Ruto must go. Do Gen Z want to remove President Ruto right now in office?
It is everybody's right to agitate. And if the agitation is that Ruto must go, Ruto is not a monarch. Ruto is a president of a republic. He is not a monarch, a king of a kingdom. And when you're in a republic, a democratic republic, you must lead by the tenets of democracy. And those tenets of democracy also recognize that the people are superior to the elected leaders. That is why in Article 1 of our Constitution, sovereignty can be exercised directly or indirectly. The election of a president is indirect exercise. But the people still retains their power to exercise direct sovereignty, including to remove a representative who has gone rogue. And if the agitation is for him to go, he is not Pharaoh to refuse my people to go. Let my people go. The sign is on the wall. The plagues have been there. He's seen the plagues that have come. At this point, he only asked the onerous thing to do is to say that this office I hold is a public trust. It's not my birthright. He was not born a king. That you can say, if I leave, what happens to the kingdom? You tell them, it seems there's a disconnect between my administration and your desires. I hand it back. I take back the trust to you. Choose your new representatives.
But don't you think that will now bring a state of anarchy in the country?
No, it will not bring. It
than
simply
to
means
wait until 2027
it simply means
dealt it on the ballot.
If that argument was to exist, then the state of anarchy could have started in 1963, 1952. When Kenyans were agitating for independence.
This is an elected president.
No, understand. In 1952, there were similar arguments when Kenyans were fighting for independence. That you people fighting for independence, you are creating a state of anarchy. That's the language of oppressors. They start giving you scare tactics, things to look out for, to scare you. Because if it was not desired, then we could have as well become a kingdom from the beginning. That we are saying, whoever is president, you become president for life. No, we said we are a republic, governed by the Constitution and the rule of law. And we gave ourselves Article 1, the first one. Our Article 1, sovereignty is vested in the people. And it goes further to say they can exercise it directly
or indirectly.
So if the people decide we are going to exercise our sovereignty directly today, and we are asking the elected representative to leave office, who are you to say no? Because even in terms of coming up with the next person, it's an election process.
But is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. Why not? Why not? If I was William Ruto today, I will resign. I will tell the people of Kenya, it seems what I see and what you see are different. Yeah. Take your country, organize another election. I'll be there to witness. Yeah. Because it's a public trust. It is not a birthright. You know, if you told, for example, King Mswati in Swaziland to resign, he will ask you resign to go where? It's my birthright to be your king. If I leave, there's no kingdom, there's no Swaziland. That will make sense to them. But in Kenya, this is not a monarchy. This is a republic founded on a constitution. And when you hold office, you are not at better than the rest of us. You are just first amongst equals. We are all equal. You're just holding the trust on our behalf. If the trust beneficiaries have lost trust in you, you hand over the trust back. Let them set a new trust. Come up with a new trustee, not yourself. And the republic will continue. So he has a duty to respect the voice of the people.
Now, Wakili, let's come here now. Let's come back to now the protest yesterday. We saw the events that took place throughout the day. We were there as the members of the Fourth Estate. We saw what happened. And even at the end of the day, 8 people were killed and 400 people injured, as well as 61 people detained in various police stations. How do you have to say concerning yesterday protest?
The sad part about the protest yesterday was the police high-handedness in dealing with the protest. Because for me, once people have come out in their numbers, the duty of the police in a protest is to protect the protesters, demonstrators. Protect them. Have first aid equipment, ambulances to assist anybody who may faint out of fatigue.
But they were there.
So, you don't go out with guns and bullets. It tells you when everybody went out to protest, to the protest yesterday, what was in the mind of the protester? The protester carried an handkerchief, a phone, water bottle. Right? That was what was in their mind. I didn't see protesters coming out carrying weapons. But the police who were sent to go and provide marshal services were given guns, bullets, tear gas, water cannons, batons. What was in their mind? In their mind, they were going to war. To the protester, he went there wearing a T-shirt, carrying a Kenyan flag.
And a phone.
And a phone. He was going for peace. So who do we blame in that scenario? We can't blame the protester. If the protesters had come out carrying rungus and machetes, then I will say police are equally in order to carry weapons because this is war.
But the police then have to protect themselves.
No. Protect yourself against who? If the person is carrying a flag, Kenyan flag, which you swear to protect, is carrying a phone and a water bottle. Even your deployment also, how you are deployed should be in similar fashion. Not carrying offensive weapons. But in this particular instance, they went to the protest carrying live ammunition. So it tells you, as lawyers, we look at the mind. What was in the mind of the officers who are being deployed? What was in the mind, what was the instructions, the silent, the unspoken word in the minds of the deploying officers? I'm giving you a gun. I'm giving you bullets. To do what? To shoot. Shoot who? Of course, it's the protesters. So we must lay blame where it belongs. In this particular occasion, for the 80 Kenyans who've died, the 400 odd numbers who are injured, it's the police. And we must call them out. And I always have a word for the police officers, which I'll keep saying. There is no limitation of action for criminal law. We will go after you even in retirement. Commanders of these units causing these atrocities, even in retirement, rest assured, even if it's our children, their children, they will try you for these atrocities you're committing. And you can even be tried posthumously so that your name can be remembered in history, in ignominy, as someone who killed our young people. So the political establishment, the legacy politicians can protect you today. But just rest assured that time will come. And the message is, you may have the watch, but we have the time. It will catch up with you.
Okay. It will catch up with you. So, Wakili, now we want to now dive into now the political alignments. We are seeing now the president, William Ruto, is with Raila Odinga, hand in hand. And even yesterday, they were together in Kilifi to condole with the family of Mungaro's, Governor Mungaro. And Raila Odinga was saying the protest is okay. It is the rule of law. But then we must follow the rule of law during the protest.
Yes.
What do you have to say?
No. You should be saying the protest is okay and you must follow the rule of law. In fact, the address should be to William Ruto and to the police. They are the ones who don't follow the rule of law in protests.
Well, that is where we end our conversation together with Wakili Willis Otieno right here, right now. Ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interviews and for more current affairs. Bye-bye.